Hi, Harold. My grandson saw Biden.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's there. So, yeah, he was in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, he saw the caravan. He thinks
Oh.
he saw him, but there was like 30 or 40 suburban, black Suburbans,
Yeah.
Well, he says he thinks there were thousands of policemen in
I'm sure.
uniform
I'm
and
sure.
soldiers.
But he was only in Tel Aviv. He didn't go to Yerushalayim, did he?
No.
Yeah, that's also very political. They don't want to acknowledge that Jerusalem's the capital. Ridiculous.
Well,
Anyway, he did good. He did good. He said good. He did good.
say it again?
He said good when he was there.
Yeah.
He spoke well, but these Palestinian liars that they can say whatever they want. It's crazy.
And he promised them $100 million.
I don't know
I
why.
think to get the Egyptians to open the border
to open the border.
for the supplies, not to let them in. They won't let them in. They don't want them. Like, why do you think Jordan King is mad? Because he doesn't want them. He already has like 80 or 90% Palestinians.
Yeah, nobody wants them. Right.
Yeah. Hello, Vilmo.
Hello, Mario. Don't know why I'm on fire there.
Yeah, you're smoking.
I'm smoking.
You're heavy smoking.
Harold, how are you?
I'm good.
We're on Samech Bay 62. My cherev tuklu. What does it mean? The sword will eat you. Amar milcha gala nisa nama desarya kashu vatzli. This is very strong salt with barley bread and onions. Amar mar pas purni chareva, dried bread that you eat b'melach or b'tzolim, that you eat with salt and onions, kasha laguf kecharevus, is difficult for the body like swords. That we're dealing with the double-edged tanai, the two-sided condition. By a sota, it says, ish osach, if you hadn't committed adultery, hinaki. And it doesn't say what would happen if she did commit adultery. So you see, there's a raya that you don't need a double tonight. El Rav Meir, it should have said the other side, v'im shachav chanki, that if she had slept with an adulterer, she should be choked. And it doesn't say that, the boy. Rav Tanchum, hinaki ksiv, it says she shall be clean. But you can also darshan it chanki. So they really both exist. And then we say Bishmal Rav Meir Hainu D'chsiv Hinaki and Chanki. So that's a double-sided tonight. El Rav Chanina bar Gamliel Lamali. What do you need it for? It's true. If she really had not slept with another man, Hinaki, so she's clean. Vim Shochav, I would think Lo Hinaki v'lo Chanki. She's not clean, but she doesn't die. Eli Isur Ba'alma, she committed an Isur, Kamash Malon, that no, she does die. Bishmal Rav Meir Hainu D'chsiv, by Paraduma, it says, Hanogeh b'meis, somebody who touches a dead body, Tomei Shivas Yamim, he should be sprinkled with paradum on the third and seventh day, yitar. And then vim lo yischata. If he doesn't get paraduma, lo yitar. So you see, you have both sides. El Rav Chanina ben Gamliel lamali. According to Rav Chanina ben Gamliel, you don't need it. It's trich, you need it. Tzagda chamima mitzvah za b'shlishi v'shvi. Maybe mitzvah lachatchila is to have sprinkling third and seventh day. Let's say you only did it one day, you're tar b'di'evet. Kamashallah, that you're not. But there's another pasuk. It says, "V'hizah tahor latamei, v'yom shlishi v'yom shvi." Lamali. Why repeat this? You already told me this. It's true. Sal katach min shlishi l'mutisheni. You cannot. You have to have 3 days before Hazor. And shvi l'muteshishi, you can't do it on the 6th day. Because it might be made tahara, because you have too little days of tahara before the Hazor. Aval heichadavid b'shlishi v'shmini, where you added days of tahara, the kamafish b'mei tahara, ema shapir dami. Maybe that would work. Kamash b'lah. No, it has to be on the 3rd and 7th day, only 4 days apart. The Gemara asks v'chito b'yom hashvi lamali. It seems to be repetitious. That again, you have to be sprinkled on the 7th day. It's true. Maybe only for kodshim, to be able to eat and touch kodshim, you need 2 days of sprinkling. About the truma, maybe b'chad nami sagi. But maybe to eat truma, to touch truma, it would be enough with 1 sprinkling. Kamash v'lan that, no. You need 2 days for both. Mishnah. Hamikadesh esa'isha v'omar kisrayit yishi kohenes. The man says, I gave her Kiddushin. I thought she was a bas kohen, but really, harehi Levi. She's a bas Levi. Or I thought she was Levi of Arei Kohenes. Or I thought she was Nani of Arei Yashiv. I thought she was poor. Turns out she's rich. Or I thought she was rich, Ashira Yaniya. In all these cases, she did not fool him. These were all in his, there was not a Tanai that he said that she had to be these things. A non-Jew tells a Jewish woman, I want you to Makudesh me after I convert. Or he's Jewish, and he says, be miskadish to me after you convert. Or if he was an Eved Kanani, and he says, la'achash ishtachar, be miskadish me after I get free. Or la'achash ishtachari, or she's a shivcha, and he says to her, be miskadish to me after you get free. Or he gives kiddushin to an Eishes Ish, and he says, be miskadish to me after la'achash yamus balech, after your husband dies. Or la'achash shatamus achoseich. Or he gives to his wife's sister kiddushin and says, be miskadish to me after your sister dies. Or someone who's mezukah liyibum, la'achash yichlotz le'yivmech, after you get chlitza from the yavama. In all these cases, Eina Mekudeshes. Right now, he cannot become Mekadesh to these people. So, if at this time he would not be able to be Mekadesh, he cannot be Mekadesh in the future. He says to his friend, if your wife gives birth to a female, harezu mekudeshesli. Now, even if a girl is born, it's not Mekudeshes, because he couldn't do it right now. But if he said it, if the friend's wife was pregnant, Dvarv Kayomi, and Vim Yaldav Nekeva Mekudeshes. So, Tanan Hasam, Ein Tormin Hatolush Ala Machubr.
Ernie, sorry, I don't understand the difference between the two cases. Why, when she's born already, can't be Mekudeshet? And because what, she has
No,
died?
they're not born. No, not
Yeah,
born.
but not born. But
Oh.
no, if she's pregnant, she says she can be Makudeshet. He can be Makudeshet.
Yes.
Right. But he said in the Gemara before, we said if she is born, the Gemara that we learned before.
But we said, if you tell your wife's friend
Right.
who has a wife who's not pregnant,
Oh, he's not pregnant. Okay.
not pregnant,
Okay.
and that if you have a girl, I want her to be Kaddish with me. So even if later on a girl is born, there's no Kiddushin, because right now there was no girl in the picture.
Yeah, but hold on a second. Even if she's pregnant, a person has the ask to be Makudeshet. You can't just be Makudeshet.
No, because remember, you can be Makadesh, a Ktana. They were
Then she can get out of it when she's
no. A father could accept money from a man
right.
for his 6-year-old girl, Hidushin. And she's Makudish, and she's an Eish Minat Torah.
But only a 6-year-old, not less than a 6-year-old.
A 2-year-old, a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
A Ktana, there's no limit to a Ktana. We learned in this Mishnah, even if it's a fetus, and it works.
That seems to be a raya that a fetus is
The
already
Rambam says, if a woman is pregnant, you can identify the pregnancy as Mikudeshes. You have to repeat the Kiddushin after she's born.
That means even less than 3 months. If you see somebody's pregnant, less than 3 months, you could be Makudesh too.
If you could recognize her as pregnant. Hooker Ubra usually is 3 months.
I'm saying that I lost less than 3 months.
I guess if you could identify, but most people, it's not a hooker until 3 months. Now, the Gemara says, "Ein tormin min atolo shalom achub." We separate truma from produce that's been picked. Produce that's still connected to the ground, it's not chayiv truma. So you can't separate truma from picked fruit to pater your grain that's in the field. And the imtarm, if you try to do it, ain't truma so truma. If down the road you pick that other fruit, the truma you gave now is not a truma. Boim nervasim Rav Yochanan. Omar peres aruga zushem plushim. The fruit of this row, which has been picked, you truma peres aruga zu amuchubar, will be truma for the row of fruit which is still connected to the ground. O peres aruga zu mechubar miyat truma al peres aruga zu tlushim. We say the opposite. I want the produce that's connected to the ground to be truma for the fruit that's picked. And when that stuff is picked, v'nitlashu mau. Armalei. Since at any time he could physically pick the fruit that's connected to the ground, it's considered as if it's picked. And therefore the din would be, the truma would be chal. Esvei, from our Mishnah, Omer li isha, hariyat mikudeshas li lachash is gayer, or lachash is gairi, or lachash is shtachur, lachash is shtachur, lachash yamus balech, lachash tamus achoseich, lachash ichlatz leivomech. All our cases, we say enu mikudeshas. So Bishlam Makulu Lav Biyodo, in all those cases, it's not in his power to be makner her, except ger. If in the case we said, be miskadish to me after I convert, well, Biyodo, that's something he could do right now. So just like Rabbi Yochanan learned by the Truma, that anything is Lav K'machusar Dami, here as well it should work. So ger nami lav biyado, shamar chiyab Rav on Rav Yochanan, ger tzar shloisha. Yeah, the ger could decide for himself he wants to convert at any time, but you need 3 Jews he has to convert in front of them. They have to see him go into the mikveh. They have to tell him some of the mitzvahs, some of the mitzvahs. My time at mishpat, echad yelachem kager kazra. Ksiv bey. Mishpat needs 3 dayanim. So it's got to be kedin. Who says that he'll have 3 people to do the gerus in front of, and therefore it's not all biyado. Maskif Rav Abarman Molel Meata, based on this, Anoisim Pruta Lif Shivchaso. Person has a shivcha, and he gives her a pruta. You should be makadosh after I free you. Because it's in his power to be mishachar her. You can't compare. Hasa mi ikar behema. A shivcha, the Gemara says, is like a behema. Hashta, now that she's converted, das acheres. She's a different das. She's a Yisrael. If a man gives a pruta to his wife, this pruta should be kiddushin after I divorce you. It says Ein Mekudeshes. Hachanami Rav Yochanan Havi Kiddushin. But Rav Yochanan's principle, if anything biyado works, well, he can divorce her if he wants. Why should it work? The Gemara says Nehit should biyado lagarsha. But biyado lakatsha, he can divorce her even against her will. But kiddushin can only be with her will. So it's not completely bershuso. It's not considered biyado. She's going to be by herself in her own reshus after she gets a divorce. It's not connected to him. Well, says the Gemara, at least tivshut the boy Rav Ushia. Let's answer at least the question that Rav Ushia asked. Hanoisen shtei prutas leisha. A man gives 2 prutas to his wife or to a woman. With 1 pruta, have kiddushin with me today. The other pruta is, be miskadish to me after I divorce you. At least, because the Gemara had left this unanswered. At least tifshut minei shalavi kiddushin. You just answered it. It's not a good kiddushin because it's not everything biyado. So what Rav Asher was in doubt about was Dilma kiechi the tafsi kiddushin ashta tafsi nami la'acharke. Since right now the kiddushin could be toifas. Right now she's in her own rishus. She's an independent woman. If she's maskim to miskadish now, maybe we accept that as haskama to be makadesh later on. Tani Kavose the Rav Yochanan. There's a brisa to support Rav Yochanan. Ein tormim and atol shalom achuber. V'im torm ein trumaso truma, like we said, Kate said. Omer peres arugazu tlushin ye truma peres arugazu mechuberes. This row that's been picked should be truma for that row that's still in the ground. Peres arugazu mechuberes yu truma peres arugazu tlushin. Lo amar klum. It doesn't take hold. Aval omar lechishiyit l'shu. It says, let it be truma when they are plucked. The nitlashu dvarv kayon. Yasra kenomar b'lezer ben Yaakov. Afilo amar peres arugazu tlushin yutruma peres arugazu mechuberes, or peres arugazu mechuberes yutruma peres arugazu tlushim. Lechashiaviu shlish v'yitlashu, when they grow a third and they're plucked, ve'viu shlish v'nitlashu, and they grew a third and they were plucked. Dvarv kayon. That din was said only by unripe grain. But there's stalks. Even earlier than low. But Rav Yezran feel about agam it would work. My mashma agam lishta de butzulahu. Where do you see agam comes from the word growth? Like a very young plant that grows early. Who is a fine brisa like? If your wife gives birth to nekeva, she should be mekudesh milo amar kol. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have halachic significance when the wife is not pregnant. But if the wife is pregnant, it works. Keman. So ikaraba is only kishahukar ubra. It's got to be at least ripe enough, just like the case of shachas, that you can see the stalks. Rav Yosef aval bishadayin lahukar ubra. According to Rav Yosef, as long as she's pregnant, even if they didn't recognize her pregnancy, the kiddushin would be good. But Vikidami, other people learn differently. Amar Rava, Lo Amar Rav ben Yaakov el b'shachas devei kivsha, the special kind of grain that doesn't require irrigation. Aval b'shachas devei shikya lo, because if you don't irrigate it, it's not going to grow. So it's considered as if it's lo bala oilam. Rav Yosef Amar afilu b'shachas devei shakya. Since it's reached a certain ripeness, it's considered like it's in the world. And then Kiman Azla Hadatanya, Amil Chavero, Im Yalda Ishtacha Nekeva, Temu Kudeshas Li Lo Amar Klum, Branam Chanin Lo Shana Lakashain Ishtamu Beres. It's only when his wife is not pregnant that we say it's Lo Klum. Aval Ishtamu Beres Rav Kayom. Kiman, Kishahokar Urbra, as long as we recognize the pregnancy. And that's Kedivra Kol, Rabba and Rav Yosef. On Rabbi Rav Yezer ben Yaakov, the Rebbe, Rav Meir Kulus Firlu. We see that there are times where you can have a kinyan on something that doesn't exist in the world yet. Well, Yezer ben Yaakov Adamar, that a person could be raised truma, even though it hasn't reached a chiyuv of mitzvah of truma. What's Rebbe? The Tanya. And we'll learn this tomorrow. Tomorrow, 7.
Shkoyach.
Shkoyach, everybody.
7:30.
7:30.